What should be your A1 top priority? What should you spend your time on? What should you focus your business on? You could do 1 billion different things and you have all the options in the world. So how in the world are you supposed to choose? Well, that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Hey, everyone, and welcome to my new podcast, Business Bootcamp. I'm Christy Wright, best-selling author, certified business coach, keynote speaker, but most of all, your bossy big sister, here to give you the practical steps you want and the tough love truth you need to succeed. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's just start out of the gate here, and can I just confess something? Y'all, I'm pretty sure that I have ADHD. Now, let me clarify. This is not like the cute, just being funny, being dramatic. Oh, I'm so forgetful. Must be ADHD. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally. I literally think that I have ADHD. Now, I haven't been evaluated, but I am pretty much textbook by definition ADHD. I am going to get around to getting evaluated, but I haven't yet, which, you know, is a very ADHD thing to do. Let's look at some of the attributes about me that I never knew were also attributes of someone with ADHD. I'm extremely creative, but I am terrible at follow through. I'm crazy resourceful, but can never find my keys. I'm brilliant at business strategy, but terrible at details. And I can remember an hour-long keynote from memory on stage, but I can't remember someone's name that I met yesterday. But what's interesting is, even though there are some very real challenges that come with having your brain wired this way, I have realized over time, this is actually my superpower. The way my brain works is so unique and awesome because I can see solutions that other people can't see. I can solve problems faster than most people can. And when other people want to give up, I don't, just because I'm so stinking hard-headed. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but people with ADHD have a 300% higher chance of becoming an entrepreneur than other professions. 300%, y'all. That's interesting. I don't know if that's something you want to look into. I'm just saying. Because since I shared this publicly last year, I have had hundreds and hundreds of messages from women saying, I have the same struggles. I have the same tendencies. Do you think it could be? Maybe it could. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I'm not going to tell you what your diagnosis is. That is not my place. But I will tell you that research is coming out that is fascinating, y'all, where tons and tons of women are getting diagnosed with ADHD in adulthood, in their 30s and 40s and 50s, because when this became more understood in the 80s, it looked a certain way. And because girls have a stronger executive functioning part of their brain, they tend to compensate and they have more impulse control. And so it doesn't evidence itself in the classrooms like little boys that are bouncing off the wall and can't sit still. So a lot of women, grown women, adult women in their adulthood are getting diagnosed with ADHD. And what's so fascinating is, for myself, though I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I am. What's so interesting is it's bringing a new level of awareness of how we work, how we operate, and what we need to be successful. So one of the things that people with ADHD or creatives or entrepreneurs struggle with is distraction. So whether you have ADHD or not, regardless of how your brain is wired, you probably have this tendency if you have a business. Because business owners and entrepreneurs, we have so many ideas. We have more ideas than we could ever possibly act on. And at the surface, having a lot of ideas and having a lot of options and liking options seems exciting, right? Like, ooh, all the possibilities, all of the potential, all the options in the world. That seems exciting on the surface. But the reality is, having all the options in the world is overwhelming. Having unending possibilities can actually be really overwhelming. And as we sit here at the start of a new year and a new month with this new podcast, you might be setting new goals, new vision for your year. You can feel paralyzed by your choices. What should you focus on this year? What goals should you set? What should be your word for the year or verse for the year? What should be your A1 top priority? What should you spend your time on? What should you focus your business resources on? Listen, y'all, you could do 1 billion different things and you have all the options in the world. So how in the world are you supposed to choose? Well, typically, when you have a lot of options and you get so overwhelmed with these options, you usually do one of two things. Number one, you do nothing. You have analysis paralysis and you don't make any decisions at all because you're so overwhelmed with the possibilities. Y'all, this is how I used to feel in Sweet Cece's when we had a Sweet Cece's in Nashville. You know, you get your ice cream in the cup and then you go through all the toppings lines. That seems exciting. So many toppings. Like, do you want Fruit Loops or strawberries or brownies or chocolate fudge? I don't know. You have so many choices. I don't feel excited by that. I actually panic. I don't know if I should choose the chocolate route or the sour candy route or the fruit healthy route or the syrup. I don't know. I just freak out. So I put together some terrible combination, or I just get it plain and walk out. Like it's just too much. It's overwhelming. So you do nothing. You have so many options. You do nothing new. You set no new goals. You make no plans. You make no decisions. You just keep trucking along because the options are overwhelming. The second thing that people typically do when they feel overwhelmed by their options is you do this. You do what you see other people doing. You start doing what you see someone next to you doing, someone on social media doing, someone else winning doing. You just copy and paste what they're doing. You're trying to emulate what they're doing. You're thinking, well, if that works, then I'll do that and it'll work for me. So you start building this thing for you like they have built it without ever stopping to ask yourself if that's what you actually want, if that's what's right for you. You know, I had a conversation a few weeks ago with a publisher about some opportunities for a book deal. And there's a creative way to go about it with working with courses and subscription models and just a really different way to go about publishing a book. And as I'm talking to this publisher, which is also a friend and we're in very similar spaces, he said to me, Christy, you could do this and this and this. You could build this big team and you could branch out and you could build this huge, machine under this. And I said, let me stop you right there. Thank you. And I don't want that. I got to be honest, I don't want that at all. I'm in a season with 3 little kids. I have a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old. I don't want a big team. I don't want a big machine that I have to maintain and lead and manage. I actually don't want that at all. That version of success might be right for someone. It might be right for you. It's not right for me right now. So if I'm not careful with all the options, I'll start doing what someone else is doing, what he's doing, what someone else online is doing, what my peers in the space are doing, because it looks like it's working and it looks successful, but it's not right for me. If you're going to build your business this year in a way that you are excited about and proud of, you've got to stop looking to your right and to your left, because you cannot build the life that you want by building the business that someone else has. Unless you want what they have too. Don't start this year by running after someone else's life. You have to start this year and even start by setting your business goals, by asking yourself, what do you want for your life? Your life. And even more specifically, what do you want in this season of your life? The ages of my kids and the season that I am in as a mom drastically affects the goals that I have for my life, my time, my schedule, and yes, my business. Because your business should support your life and your family and your dreams and your goals. But it can't do that if you don't know what those are. Your business cannot create the life that you want if you don't know what life you want. It can't create the freedom and flexibility and schedule that you want if you don't know what that is. If you don't know what you want in this season of life with your family, with your priorities, with your schedule. So y'all know I love to make this tactical. I always have, and I always will, especially on this new show, Business Bootcamp. I want to give you tactical steps and takeaways. So I'm going to do that in every episode. And so today, I want to give you 4 simple questions as you start this year to help you decide what you should focus your business and your goals on this year. The first one is the hardest. It's also the most simple. So let's just start here. What do you want? What do you want? Question number 1 is this. What do you want? Believe it or not, this is really hard to answer. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to get an answer by multitasking and rushing from one thing to the next with people screaming at you, yelling at you, your kids crying, your dog barking. You've got to get still and alone and quiet. You've got to get still and alone and quiet and ask yourself, what do you want? What do you really want? What do you want for your life? What do you want for your family? What do you want for your schedule? What do you want for your finances? We've got to stop chasing the world's version of success in business, not because it's wrong or immoral or evil, but just because it's wrong for us or our season. There are a lot of ways to get what you want, friend. There are a lot of ways to build the business that you want, that supports the life that you want, but you can't do any of that if you don't know what you want. So what do you want? What do you want this year for your life? What do you want this year for your schedule, for your priorities, for your freedom, for your finances? What do you want? This can be hard to answer. And since it can be hard to answer, I'm actually going to give you 3 more questions to even look at this from a different angle and narrow down the possibilities of all the things you could do this year. This is going to help you discern what's the right direction, what's the right priority, what are the right goals for you. So let me give you 3 more questions to unpack this a little bit further. Question number 2, what do you not want? What do you not want this year? Sometimes it's easier to think about what you don't want to narrow down your options. I'll tell you right now, something I don't want are long commitments. You know, I read a really great book a couple years ago on coaching and business coaching. And the author was talking about how to structure your coaching packages, because at this time I was going into one-on-one business coaching and speaking coaching, and I was building my coaching packages and offerings and programs. And, you know, he said, you can create the commitment that is 12 months and you have people sign an agreement that's 12 months minimum. And you tell them, if you want to grow in your business, if you want to grow in your speaking, et cetera, you've got to commit to 12 months. I won't work with anybody that doesn't commit to at least 12 months. He said, that may be right for you. He said, or you may prefer the opposite. You may choose 2 to 3 months. And as he described these options, I realized I don't want long commitments. 12 months to me does not sound exciting. Like, ooh, I've got a client for 12 months. It sounds like I am locked down for 12 months. What am I going to be doing in 12 months? I don't know, y'all. I might go to Europe. I'm acting way more free than I actually am. I have 3 little kids. Where am I going? I'm not going to Europe. What am I talking about? But I just want to feel free. Okay. So when I started my coaching program, I have 3-month commitments. I ask for people to commit to 3 months because, yes, I don't want this to be a revolving door. Someone's in, someone's out. They're changing their mind every month. No, I want people somewhat committed, but I don't want to commit to beyond that. And if we want to continue on a month-to-month basis after that 3 months, we do. But it just gives me the freedom and flexibility for the future. So what do I not want? I don't want long-term commitments. So I build my offerings, my packages in line with my values of what I want in this season of life. I'm a little bit of a commitment phobe after leaving Ramsey of 12 years. And so that's reflected in my business offerings. Something else I don't want a large team. I don't. I would rather outsource. I would rather use contract employees. I would rather find different creative ways to get the resources and help and skills and expertise that I need in my business in that way that is, again, low commitment, a little bit higher cost, but low commitment, because I don't want to manage a large team at this stage. Now, when all 3 of my kids are in school full-time and I have got more flexibility in my schedule, I may want that then. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to want then, but I might. But right now, I know that I don't want a large team. So I'm not going to go immediately to hire for every need that I have. I'm going to find creative ways to outsource or hire freelancers or contract employees and so on to get those things met. So understanding what I don't want helps me make decisions about my plans and goals for this year. I need help in one area of my business. My default is not going to be to hire just because everybody says you have to hire, because I don't want a large team. What do you not want? What do you not want? That's going to help you know what plans and goals you should make for this year. Number 3, what do you feel called to? Is there anything that you feel a strong pull toward? You know, I'll give you an example. I had a mastermind that I led last year of a group of women in all different stages of business and types of businesses. And towards the end of last year, as we're wrapping up our year together, I did commit to a year with the mastermind. But as we're wrapping up this year together, she was sharing with the group that she feels really called into the faith space. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of that right now. I don't know if you're seeing it, but in the online business space, coaches, authors, speakers, teachers, you're seeing a lot of business experts being called into the faith space. And it might be a side project. It might be a passion project. It might be a one-off thing, but they're getting bolder and bolder with their faith. And she was talking about this as well, but she feels called to it. Well, if you feel called to something, you need to listen to that. You need to follow that call, because that's a very good clue of what is coming this year for you, because you feel this big pull in that direction. So what do you feel called to? And number 4, the final question, what do you feel called away from? Is there anything you feel called away from? Is there a sense that something is ending, even if you can't explain it, don't know why, don't understand it, and even if it doesn't make financial sense? So for example, a little over a year ago, I started a mastermind that was a small coaching group that I walked with these women every single month for this entire past year in 2023. And as the year was ending, we were as strong as we've ever been, making incredible progress. This is a great line of revenue in my business from the income from the membership fees. We were super close, super bonded, getting great results in their business. They're in it to win it. I'm in it to win it. And I just have to let them know that I feel like I'm done. No explanation other than I feel like God has told me the season is up. We're done here. Is it scary to give up that revenue, that security of that monthly revenue? Yeah. Is it sad because I felt like we were making great progress? Yeah. None of that makes logical sense, but y'all know by now I'm a person of faith. And if I feel a nudge in a direction or away from something, I want to listen to that and obey. So is there something you feel called away from? There's a reason for it. I believe God is opening up space and margin in your schedule, your time, your resources to fill it with something new, different, or better. Maybe all three. But he can't do that if you don't walk away in obedience from that thing that has been safe, secure, predictable, good for this past season. But you're going into a new season. It's 2024. What you did in 2023 might not be what you're going to do in 2024. And what God's calling you to may not be what he called you to in 2023. So what do you feel called away from? What do you want? What do you not want? What do you feel called to? What do you feel called away from? When you start to answer these questions as specifically as you can with the information and insights that you have right now, you'll start to get clarity about which goals are the right goals, which plans move you forward toward what you want, and which ones don't. You know, I'll be honest, I have done this exercise myself. I love to teach you what I'm actually doing and walking through myself, and I have done this. And one of the things that I have identified really clearly in my life in this season, even in this transition between 2023 and 2024, going into new areas in my business, is that I want flexibility. I want freedom and flexibility to work fewer hours. I want to be able to be present with my kids in this season when they're young. I want to be able to go on the field trips. I want to be able to change my mind last minute, which means that I've got to build my business in a way that supports that. Well, I know that one of the ways that I build my business to support freedom and flexibility is by growing it online and growing my email list. The email list that I had at Ramsey is gone. I had to start completely over. So all of my efforts this year in 2024 are pointing at growing my email list. Everything I'm doing is moving me and my efforts to the top of my funnel in my business, podcasting, as you can see right here, paid ads, getting booked on other people's podcasts as a guest. I'm doing everything I can. I'm creating valuable lead magnets. I'm doing everything I can to build my list, which gives me the options and the flexibility that I want. Speaking of, if you go to businessbootcampshow.com, you can download my free goal setting guide that will get you on my email list, exactly like I'm talking about. But you can also see exactly how I'm doing this. You can see the lead magnets. You can see the process of how you get a welcome email and how I email you after that. And you can begin to study what I'm doing to see how you can do it as well. My friend Amy Porterfield said, the energy of your business is directly tied to your email list. And y'all, that is 100% true. So my focus for last year was building courses and getting money in the door after leaving Ramsey. And now I'm moving to the top of my funnel to get more people on my list. In fact, next week, I'm going to actually be teaching you why an email list is so important in your business, any type of business. Almost all of my efforts are pointing at that. I have focus and I am making incredible progress and momentum already because of that focus. But that focus and that momentum didn't happen by accident. It happened because I was able to answer the question that I asked you. What do you want? So what do you want? What do you want? When you know that, you can narrow down all of the many ways that you can grow your business into the ways that are right for you. All right, y'all. That's it for this week's episode of Business Bootcamp. Don't forget to go to businessbootcampshow.com to get your free goal setting guide, and then be sure to follow this podcast channel and share this new show on social media. Then tune in here every Tuesday to get the practical steps you want and the tough love truth you need to succeed in your business. I'm Christy Wright, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Business Bootcamp.